Okay, Selina Kyle, Catwoman. We talking about a whole lot of pretty and a whole lot of crazy. But let's really get down to the layers that this figure brings to the Batman mythos. She's walking on a razor's edge between hero, villain, and something entirely of her own. Now, her actual psychology is rooted in survival. Now, if we're going with the abused street kid version, which you saw in Year One, Hush, and The Long Halloween, or the more fantastical iterations, Tim Burton's Batman or the Arkham City, her story still begins with trauma, primarily abuse and neglect. She often comes from a background of poverty, and abandonment, and exploitation. And this is the crucible that forges her distrust of authority and institutions in general. Now, many of her interpretations emphasize her time on the street, her feral childhood. And that feral independence defines her worldview. No one will protect you, so you learn to protect yourself. Her psychology resembles what modern therapists call complex trauma survivors. She oscillates between intimacy and isolation, trust and betrayal. And the cat archetype. Now, her entire identity is built around this feline symbol. And that's not just for aesthetics. Cats are known to be independent, hard to tame, and fiercely self-directed. They're predatory, but can be playful. They hunt, but they also tease. Those things really fit her personality. They're comfort seekers who value freedom over safety. Now, Selina identifies with this very deeply. Now, psychologically, Catwoman isn't just dressing up. She adapts a predator identity to reclaim the power that she lacked as a vulnerable child. This really makes sense. It's armor and liberation all rolled into one. And then she's got this moral ambiguity. Unlike Batman, who needs rigid rules to contain his darkness, Selina thrives in the ambiguity. She steals, but it's never out of greed. It's often for survival, thrill, or as a challenge. She kills only when she's cornered. Unlike Batman's strict code, she doesn't revel in it like the Joker or Two-Face. So she's split in between those two factions which we see on display. She'll help Batman, but never bow to him. And this flexibility makes her kind of a moral shapeshifter. Someone who operates in the gray and feels at home there. In psychological terms, she demonstrates adaptive morality, adjusting to situations instead of clinging to absolutes. Which, when we look at the other cast of the Batman mythos, that's probably the most healthy way of adapting it. Now, in her relationship with Batman, which is the best thing I think he's got going, he is her shadow dance partner. He represents rigid order, while she represents freedom. Their chemistry isn't just romantic, it's also symbolic on a lot of levels. Now, for him, she tests his rigidity. She forces him to acknowledge that morality is not just black and white. And he offers her stability and trust that she secretly craves, but can't openly admit. Now, both are trauma survivors, but where Bruce built walls, Selina built wings. From that perspective, Catwoman is Batman's Amina, the female counterbalance to his hyper-masculine, control-obsessed psyche. Now, if we had to pin her down a diagnosis, we'd really look at some complex PTSD, abandonment, street survival, abuse. She's got this compensatory narcissism. The cat persona is both confidence and a cover. Look at me, but don't get too close, right? She has attachment avoidance. When she runs whenever intimacy gets too deep, though she often circles back when she feels like it's safe. We see this kind of behavior out of cats. But above all, she's not broken. She's someone who weaponized her wounds. And that's what makes her so strong. She embodies resilience, and the claws are just the add-on that make it all nice. But no matter how you slice her or which iteration, this is a very complex character that on her own deserves to be dissected and looked at for what her true motives are, what her real feelings are, and let her determine herself. Because that's the only way she's going to take it anyway. So if you have some thoughts about the complexities about Catwoman, please drop them in the comment section. And if you're there, let me know what other characters you'd like to hear a deep dive into mental mind state of.